I'm finally back on our nature preserve out here in the deserts where I am turning this place from degraded lands into a thriving native forest. As the spring comes to an end, so does our first year on the land. We purchased this plot back in 2024 at the beginning of spring. The first part of the year was 85% mistakes. Everything that we put into the ground died. Everything that I thought I knew about water management, about how to grow things in the soil, was completely thrown out the window when I got exposed to this desert environment. I'll admit, I'm a tropical person, I'm a garden person. I always had the elements working in my favor. But when you come out to the desert, it's almost like everything is working against your favor. And because we have degraded the land so bad that it is now in a cycle of self-destruction. You see, these lands were never this degraded. You were able to see trees or animals, more greens, more flowers, maybe even springs. And in fact, in the background, you actually have a couple of ancient lake beds that surround this plot of land. That's when I knew that this place could be a paradise once again. Now, most people hear that statement and think I'm crazy. They were ancient lake beds. That was a long time ago. There's no way you're gonna bring it back now. This is the natural environment. But knowing what I know about the land and how to regenerate it and the way that the soil works, I can tell you confidently that this place is a gold mine. I spent hours learning about the soil, about water harvesting techniques, and how to bring back this environment. In the first year, I spent a good amount of it doing these earthworks, digging into the ground to capture water. I was able to find a friend who had a company that helped me dig out all of these water structures. And it really sped things up for me because beforehand, I was doing everything by myself with a shovel. He was able to carve out pieces of the land so that I could create a sort of bowl in the ground that I can now refill with healthier soil. I ended up calling these creations nabo pits. They are a type of bowl in the ground where you have more control over the success of your plants. And based on the growth of my trees, I can tell you that these nabo pits were a success. Not only that, they were able to host dozens and dozens of our wildflowers, specifically our chia seed, and successfully grow them until they reached their seeding stage. And if you don't know about chia seeds, these seed beds will carry dozens of seeds. And so one plant could potentially carry hundreds of seeds. If you look at our most successful one, it was actually next to our tree. And this one had at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seed heads, 6 in the background. And this is gonna give us a couple hundred seeds. As I'm walking around, I actually just discovered a new species of flower that I've never seen before. Very, very tiny little flower heads. Not really sure what it is yet, but I mean, this spring has been such a success when it comes to the wildflowers and the grasses. This is one of the grasses that I put in. In this nabo pit, you'll find our maize. Everything from red to yellow, white, blue is growing in here. Right now, there are about half a dozen that are surviving. Sadly, I haven't been bringing enough water for all of them. But what these guys are doing beneath the surface is really breaking up this compacted soil. That's really why I wanted the corn tier. I also wanted to give thanks to the ancestors of the land by planting this corn and making sure that it grows and it thrives. Some of them are struggling. Like I said, I have not brought enough water for all of them, and that is on me, but others are doing a lot better, especially this one right here. But that is not all we've grown. I have something that I'm going to show you that made me jump for joy when I got here today. And it's a flower that I told you guys was going to come out and was going to be able to grow in these environments. And that, my friends, is the gorgeous California poppy. This was able to grow so well because it grew out of our compost pit. And so I had a lot of nutrients to feed on, and it had a lot of shade when the compost pit was a lot larger. Now we did have some lupines here that I really thought were gonna make it to flower, but they got eaten up by the harvester ants that were here. Probably because they were nitrogen fixing plants, and I don't know, the ants just really sensed the nitrogen within them. We did have a lot of success with our grasses that are gonna be really taken over. These are already seeding. And then we had this little guy pop up. Why, I don't know. It is a random tomato, but I'm just gonna let it do its thing because why not? But if I can get this now flowering California poppy to go to seed without being eaten, this place is going to look insanely different next year. I personally have not seen a California poppy within 20 to 30 miles of this land. So this right here is huge because this is its native range historically. Right now, because of the, destroyed land, you won't really be seeing these. And if this goes to seed, like I know it's going to, just like the chia, I can say that I am single-handedly responsible for reintroducing a native plant into this area. How special is that? Buckwheat is such an important part of this desert ecosystem, so I'm proud to say that I am reintroducing it into this area as well. We now have the buckwheat going to flower, and it's going to go to flower on every single one of these. And so the amount of seeds that it's going to be able to spread is going to be in the dozens or the hundreds. And so this project has been such a huge success just within its first year. Here's a look at the screw bean mesquite that is absolutely loving the land, adapting really, really well, very green, even though it's been 90 degrees the past couple of days. We haven't had many accidents when it comes to our trees, but this one just so happened to snap on us because of how strong the winds were. This one was about yay in height, pretty tall, but the winds got to about 60 miles one day and completely took it out. So that is perfectly okay. It is actually going to start to force it to start growing outwards, which is actually what I want. It's going to provide a lot more coverage to the ground. We were able to grow our first nopales on the land, which is super exciting because last year was a disaster. Our nopales got eaten up within just a couple of weeks getting here, and we now are up to 3 and counting. I wouldn't doubt that more are going to pop up over time. We even have the wildflowers that were already here, already going to seed, and now I can spread them around all throughout the summertime as I find them. These seed heads are only gonna bring in more birds that are only gonna bring in bigger predators, and this is how we restore the environment. I am showing you guys in real time, and I'll be honest, I'm even a little surprised it's working this well. Maybe it's because of the love and the passion that I put into it. Maybe it is because of all these offerings that I give to the land. Maybe it is because of the support that you guys have given me, but I mean, I never would have imagined this much success in this little time, especially with how brutal our first planting was. Here's how our flowering shrubs are doing, and they again have followed suit and had started going to seed already. If you can see these little clusters right here, they are seed heads, and I mean, if you look closely, they are everywhere. And as I looked closely, each seed head is going to carry anything from 10 to 12 seeds. And I mean, there's just too many to count. And that's just one mallow plant. We have another mallow plant here that is going to seed that carries around the same amount. And then our other mallow here that is doing the same. Now, the one bit of sad news that I really had to come to terms with is that these plants are eventually going to wither up, dry out, and die off. And that is going to be a little heartbreaking, I'll admit. Seeing them in their light, seeing them with their flowers, seeing them attract all of these animals is so satisfying. But seeing them die is just very heartbreaking. But I know that this is a part of the process. Going to seed, meaning that it's basically ending its life so that it can start another one and grow even bigger, even stronger, and repopulate even more. And so, throughout the videos, you guys might see less color. You guys might see less flowers, less green. But that doesn't mean that the growth has stopped. In reality, it's preparing itself for the next rainy season. These seeds are going to be a part of the seed bank that is in the ground. And the seed bank is essentially just the seeds that make up any, just handful of soil that you would grab around you. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of tiny, tiny seeds that most people just don't see with the naked eye. This seed bank has been depleted over the years because of these vicious monsoon cycles and drought cycles. But we are reseeding the seed bank with all of these flowers that we have going to seed this season. And since they grew and went to seed here and they adapted to this environment, the next time they come back around, they are going to be just as much more drought resilient than their original plants, which I'm really excited about because maybe eventually we won't have to see them die off and wither away. And with that being said, we have to talk about the start of the summer coming up. The summer here is going to be very harsh. I went through the first one and I don't see how things survive out here. There is not one drop of water for about 7 months, and the humidity is close to zero. And I don't know how it's going to survive. I don't know how things are going to look, but I do know this: it is the perfect time to start digging. It is the perfect time to start building houses and cleaning up all of the debris that comes onto the land because, as a reminder, there are no trees, there's no windbreak, so the wind can get 50, 60 miles per hour on any given day, and it blows a lot of trash onto the land. So I wanted to talk about something that you guys may be interested in, especially those who have been supporting this vlog for a while. After 30 episodes in, I really dedicated myself to this project every single week for the past year nonstop. And I want to now extend an invitation to you guys to come onto the land, check it out in all of its dry glory, and give you guys a chance to help me out to connect as this community that is passionate about rebuilding the lands and reconnecting with the lands. If cleaning up the land and creating homes for the local wildlife and discovering the beauty of the land's medicine is something up your alley, then go over to the link in the description and you will find all the information about our volunteer days that are coming up this summer.